The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the dense forest as I ventured into its depths. The trees loomed like ancient giants, their twisted branches forming an intricate web that blocked out the feeble light. My footsteps echoed through the eerie silence, and a shiver ran down my spine. As I walked, an unsettling feeling settled over me, a sensation that I was being watched by unseen eyes. I dismissed it as paranoia, attributing the unease to the natural spookiness of the woods at night. But the shadows seemed to dance with a malevolent energy, and the air was charged with an unspoken tension. I stumbled upon a small clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow. In its center stood a circle of gnarled trees, their branches intertwined like skeletal fingers reaching toward the heavens. In the middle of the clearing, a fog clung to the ground, swirling in unnatural patterns. A soft, haunting melody drifted through the air, and I realized it emanated from the heart of the circle. Mesmerized, I approached cautiously, my senses tingling with a mixture of fear and curiosity. As I entered the circle, the melody intensified, each note sending shivers down my spine. The fog thickened, and shapes materialized within it, apparitions of faceless figures that swayed to the haunting tune. Their movements were graceful yet unsettling, as if they were trapped in a spectral dance. The air became charged with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature dropped. Suddenly, the figures turned toward me, their featureless faces focusing on mine. The melody warped into a dissonant cacophony, and the apparitions closed in, their ethereal forms brushing against me. Panic surged through my veins as I stumbled backward, desperate to escape the haunting grove. As I broke free from the circle, the fog dissipated, and the melody faded into the night. The forest returned to an oppressive stillness, but the memory of the spectral dance lingered. I stumbled through the woods, haunted by the knowledge that in the heart of the forest, a malevolent presence awaited those who dared to venture too close. The willow tree stood at the edge of the clearing, its branches hanging low like a mourning veil. Moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting a ghostly glow on the moss-covered ground. Intrigued by the solitary tree, I approached, drawn by an inexplicable force. As I stood beneath its weeping branches, a soft whispering filled the air. At first, the words were indistinct, carried on a breeze that seemed to carry the secrets of the forest. I strained to listen, and the whispers coalesced into voices, whispers of forgotten tales and the sorrows of the long-lost. The willow's branches seemed to sway with a life of their own, their tendrils reaching out like spectral fingers. The whispers grew louder, the voices resonating with an ancient sorrow. The air became heavy with a sense of melancholy that weighed on my chest. In the moonlit clearing, the shadows twisted and contorted, forming shapes that danced in macabre unity. I felt a chill in the air as the whispers became urgent, as if the forest itself sought to convey a message. The willow's branches extended toward me, and I felt a soft caress, like the touch of long-forgotten spirits. A vision flashed before my eyes, a spectral procession of figures clad in tattered garments, their faces obscured by shadows. They moved with a mournful grace, disappearing into the darkness of the forest. The willow's whispers reached a crescendo, a chorus of sorrow that seemed to reverberate through the very soul of the woods. Overwhelmed by the haunting scene, I stumbled back, breaking free from the willow's embrace. The whispers faded, and the clearing returned to an eerie stillness. As I retreated into the depths of the forest, the mournful melody lingered, a reminder that the willow harbored the memories of a time long past, and those who listened risked being entangled in the sorrowful tales it wove. The forest at night was a realm of darkness and mystery, and I found myself drawn to its secrets. As I ventured along an overgrown trail, the moonlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy above. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth, and an uneasy silence clung to the surroundings. I stumbled upon an ancient stone archway, its weathered columns standing as silent sentinels at the entrance to an overgrown cemetery. Intrigued, I entered the burial ground, the crunch of fallen leaves beneath my feet echoing through the stillness. The gravestones, weathered by time, leaned at odd angles, their inscriptions obscured by the passage of years. As I explored, a cold wind whispered through the tombstones, carrying with it an otherworldly presence. A figure materialized before me, an apparition of a woman clad in a tattered gown. Her eyes, hollow and vacant, locked onto mine with a chilling intensity. A sense of dread settled over me as the ghostly woman beckoned for me to follow. I hesitated, the air growing colder with each step. The moonlight cast elongated shadows that seemed to dance in the ethereal glow. The ghostly figure led me deeper into the cemetery, and the gravestones began to shift, rearranging themselves in a sinister pattern. The ghostly guardian stopped before a dilapidated mausoleum, its doors creaking open with an otherworldly wail. Reluctantly, I entered the darkened chamber, the air thick with an ancient energy. The walls seemed to close in around me as the ghostly woman pointed to a crumbling epitaph. As I read the inscription, a shiver ran down my spine. The words spoke of a tragic tale, a love betrayed, a life cut short. The ghostly guardian reached out, her cold hand brushing against mine. Suddenly the chamber was filled with the anguished wails of unseen spirits. I stumbled out of the mausoleum, the ghostly guardian fading into the shadows. The cemetery seemed to come alive with mournful cries, and the air pulsed with an otherworldly sorrow. Terrified, I fled from the burial ground, the haunting echoes of the ghostly guardian's tale echoing in my mind. As I emerged from the forest, the moon cast its pale light on the graveyard behind me. The cemetery stood silent once more, its secrets hidden in the shadows. But the memory of the ghostly guardian lingered, a reminder that in the heart of the woods, the spirits of the past guarded their tales with a spectral vigilance.